Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, Magnetic Reversal News, and Shinrin Yoku, the Oppenheimer Ranch News Network, bringing you the news you need to know and the know you need to use it. Here we can see heavy lake effect snow hitting the northeast, but the big story, powerful typhoon Goni slams the Philippines, leaving at least 10 dead and 3 missing. Now, the strongest hurricane or typhoon of the year has caused some damage. Take a look at that. Down electric posts in Tabaco, Albay province, in addition to causing deadly flooding and storm surge when it struck the Philippines on Sunday. Recovery efforts are underway in the Philippines after Super Typhoon Goni brought flooding, mudslides, and strong winds to its largest island early Sunday morning. The storm, whose maximum wind speed earned it the distinction of the year's most powerful cyclone, left at least 10 dead, 3 missing. Regional authorities said 345,000 people are still being housed in evacuation centers. Holy macaroni. Keep calm. It's boom time. Tropical storm Ada forms in the Caribbean and ties for the most named storms in a season. A season of pleasing. Tropical Depression 29 in the Caribbean has been upgraded to Tropical Storm Ada. And we're waiting on Theta. Anybody got the beta? It's forecast to make landfall in Central America as a Cat 1 hurricane. New models suggesting it may hit as Cat 2. Who knew? But it may also recirculate around. Let's do it the other way. I can't even do it that way. It's all backwards on this. But it may circulate around Central America and come back up into the Caribbean. Of course it'll do that. It's 2020. Ada is the 28th named storm of the active 2020 hurricane season and ties the record for the number of named storms in a single season set back in 2005. However, there are many people claiming that some of the storms named early in the season, well, maybe shouldn't have been. So that's why we're waiting for Theta. But in the meantime, Ada is now almost at hurricane strength, maximum sustained winds at 70 miles per hour, and in just minutes will be Hurricane Ada. Let's hear what the mainstream has to say in pink dresses.
We have Tropical Storm Ada. No one wanted us to talk about the past Greek storms, and we now have added Ada to the list. It is a tropical storm, and winds have been increasing to 65 miles per hour, and it's going to be moving westward into Central America. But before it gets there, it does look like it might perhaps be able to strengthen quickly. So it might become a hurricane tonight, and right now it looks like it might achieve Category 2 status right before landfall near Nicaragua.
Holy macaroni, that's exactly what I said. And we love that dress. Give her a thumbs up. Subscribe to WWL-TV if you haven't. We've never heard of them, but apparently they're awesome. Not really. Key message for Tropical Storm Ada. Ada is forecast to strengthen into a hurricane by early Monday morning. Additional strengthening is forecast thereafter. And Ada is expected to be a major hurricane before it reaches the northeastern coast of Nicaragua Monday night or early Tuesday, where hurricane warnings are currently in effect. A tropical storm warning is in effect for portions of the northeastern coast of Honduras. Through Friday evening, heavy rainfall from Ada will cause and lead to catastrophic, life-threatening flash flooding, river flooding across portions of Central America, along with landslides in areas in higher terrain, flash floods, river flooding, also possible across Jamaica, southeast Mexico, and El Salvador. Southern Haiti and the Cayman Islands also in the risk zone. A life-threatening storm surge along with damaging waves is expected along portions of the northeastern coast of Nicaragua, near and to the north of where the center makes landfall. Water levels could reach as much as 10 to 15 feet above normal, which is where tons of people are living on the shoreline there. Some parts of the hurricane warning area, they should be evacuating now. Preparations to protect life and property should be rushed into completion now. Get her done, as they say. Now, strong winds fuel high waves and outages in West Michigan. I walked down there, thanks to my friend Topknot, who took me out there. This is the South Haven lighthouse right there. Boom, I've done videos on it. And you could see the waves have washed over the entire complex. Now, let's check the power outages up in Mich. Yes, it looks like 31,862 customers are currently out. Now, according to this article, most have come on. Total lies. The media is filled with lies, and we're going to get to more lies in just a second. Grand Rapids, Michigan. Thousands of homes and businesses in West Michigan were without power Sunday as strong winds. Let's shrink this down so you can read this with me. Let's do it. There it goes. As strong winds swept through the area, bringing some snow with them. Nothing significant, but power was restored Sunday evening for most of those impacted. As of 9:45 p.m., 20,000 were without power statewide. Now we're showing you live the facts, and they do not corroborate. There are 31,826 still without power. Look at Oklahoma, 150,000 still without power after that hurricane moved through. Can you imagine? You're part of the 150,000 customers, 300,000 people that haven't had power for days. Are you prepped? First taste of winter. Wind advisory continues. Hello, Ohio. This is Cleveland. We're getting our first taste of winter in Cleveland, Ohio, but the sun will come out and it will warm up. We're going to get to the models. Strong wind and accumulating snow expected to fall in parts of central New York Sunday night. Right now. And we'll show you how. Lake effect snow machine awakens tonight in upstate New York. Adding insult to injury, and bringing much needed snow to the DACs and other regions way before winter. I'm predicting right now we're going to see record-breaking snow totals here in upstate New York as we enter winter. Look at this, 13 inches predicted in those lake effect towns. And here is the model, which is not a schmodel. But we only have the next 90 hours, which is fine, hours of powers. It's the newest model, so you can be assured that this is pretty damn accurate. And it's showing pretty nice accumulations up here in the DACs, as well as the White Mountains and the Green Mountains of Vermont, New Hampshire. So heavy snow in all of heavy snow up in the DACs region, but lots of regions of heavy snow in pockets, which are going to be awakening to some surprises in the morning. Snow goes all the way down the Appalachia, all the way down to the tippy touch of West Virginia. So snow moving into the region, just like it used to happen back in the day. And here's a close-up look of the GFS model of that snow as it progresses. And if I can just get this set up for you, we'll walk it through day by day. There we go. Let's pause it. Boom! And we'll move it back. Like Joe Biden's crack. Or is that Beau Biden or is that Hunter? Nobody knows. Here we go. There's your Monday morning. Snow moving into western PA. Also heavy plume coming off the lake effect there in New York State. Some people in New Hampshire also going to be getting some snow by the morning. And then by afternoon, it is winter time. People are going to be sledding, and it's going to be fun as shit. Trust me. I remember when I was a kid. One time, like 10 of us found this refrigerator door, and we went to our high school, and we were able to get like 70 miles an hour. We almost killed people. Like, we were taking people out. I mean, that was just the way it was. Now, social distancing, all that nonsense, no one even knows what life is all about. But, okay, let's continue with the forecast. Here's tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, and then by Tuesday afternoon, people are going to be skiing in the DACs. Hello, Gore Mountain. Check out the Hula Boo Double Diamonds, where I did my first backflip, my first helicopter, where I lost my first ski. Amazing place. Also, Gore Mountain garnets are like this big, and you can go to the quarry and grab some for yourself. Just an amazing place, upstate New York. Even the Catskills. You just get out of New York here, and boom, they're going to be getting some snow too. Ho, ho, ho. Catskill snow. DAC snow, all happening the next 24 hours. Now, freezing everybody's crops in like 12 states. We're talking Alabama, Mississippi. Take a look at the frost and freeze warnings in thousands of counties. It's over, Johnny. Rain and snow in the east, warming temperatures across the west. A chilly air mass will overtake much of the eastern U.S. into Monday, along with areas of rain, while locally heavy snowfall is possible downwind of lakes Erie and Ontario. We just showed you the models. Elsewhere, temperatures will gradually turn from warmer from the western U.S. into portions of the plains Dry and gusty conditions will result in elevated fire conditions over parts of Southern Cali, which is the last thing we need. But snow's coming in just a few days. But take a look at the frost and freeze warnings. Hello. If you've got sensitive plants and you want to save them, well, go save them because they're about to die. Seismic update. There are really no quakes of note. There was another quake near the New Madrid zone earlier yesterday, and that has since been taken off the map. The mappa. I'm just trying to get a good size here. But I'm thinking a large Chilean quake coming in the next week and potentially something in the Aleutians based on patterns I've been seeing. Worldwide volcano news update. We have lots of major volcanoes all erupting in moderate amounts. We have Cariminch, Popo, Semaru, Ducono, Reventador, Sangay, Sabancaya, Ebico, and more. Cariminch hitting 17,000, Reventador 15,000, Ducono 7,000 today, Sabancaya 27,000 puffs, and they're passing. Semaru, emissions to 14,000 feet. Ibico, emissions to 14,000. Swanosima, emissions to 5,000. And interesting note, Kappa here is going to cop a few. No volcanic emissions detected, but it's still here. But Cinnabon, volcanic ash advisory, and Avalanche sending volcanic ash to flight level 11,000. So big avalanche on Cinnabon. Now, seismic swarms and sulfur smells in Hawaii. What is happening at the Kilauea volcano? We reported on this a week ago before anyone else did, and still no one else has reported on it, but West Hawaii Today is now reporting on it. Because the U.S., remember when I said the USGS had no comment? Well, now they do. And so does HVAC and Hawaiian Volcanology. And on the evening of Thursday, October 22nd, people living near the summit of Kilauea volcano began to feel a series of earthquakes, in fact, a swarm. They were small. Some could even be mistaken for a strong gust of wind blowing against the house. But as the night went on, they became more frequent and larger in magnitude. Beds were shaking enough to wake people up, and household items were rattling. People were wondering, why are there so many earthquakes? How big will they get? Is an eruption coming? Well, according to the powers that be, no, it's not happening. Even the strong smell of sulfur and other things, there's nothing to worry about. All is quiet on the Western Front, according to the powers that be. Now, according to the powers that be, insanely warm Arctic Ocean waters are delaying the freeze-up. Nothing's happening in the Arctic. It's not freezing. And they're actually pouring heat into the atmosphere. In late October, sea ice off Siberia has now only begun to start freezing. An unprecedented situation for that part of the Arctic. The only problem is this narrative is bullshit. It's not true. In fact, the solar cycle, an 11-year, a decadal cycle, the Hale cycle, the 2 solar cycles, the 22-year Hale cycle, this is what controls the ice play. And what it results in is different wind patterns. So over a 10-year period, the Arctic ice moves around that Arctic center. And let me tell you what I'm talking about. Let's just go come look at the Arctic. Nothing is freezing here. In fact, it was the second lowest extent ever. Now, there's 2 things you can monitor in the Arctic. Ice extent, or you could talk about volume and thickness. See how I did that? Volume and thickness. Extent, which is global warming, or volume and thickness, which is what we use, because that's the brass facts, the tax. Volume and thickness is barely unchanged for decades, since back in the 80s. It's the same volume and thickness. And this volume and thickness here now pressed up against Greenland, sometimes is up here against Alaska, sometimes is pressed against Siberia, sometimes migrates a little east. There is a motion to the ocean. And as the magnetosphere wanes, as we enter grand solar minimum, as the magnetic shift is occurring, we have a weakening magnetosphere, which allows the breakdown of the jet stream, which is usually zonal. It's like tight. But now it's meridional, so it comes up and down, and it brings some of this Arctic cold down all the way into the central latitudes, all the way down to 30 and 40 degrees latitude, which was why we had all these record colds in recent days. If it's record cold down near the tropics, it's going to be quote unquote record warm up in the Arctic, which is not warm. It's fucking freezing up there. In fact, in just a few weeks, there'll not even be any sun. So how could it ever be warm? These so-called reporters are so fraudulent, it's almost embarrassing. But the sheeple themselves that are our population are more embarrassing than the journalists because they gobble it up, just like Thanksgiving's coming, which it is. Nobody's bumming except those that live in California that have draconian restrictions where you got to live outside in a teepee and stay 50 feet apart and only be there for a few seconds. That's the world we're living in. The dystopian future of disinformation, which is epic at this point. It's profound. It's insane. I'm showing you the facts here. Nothing has changed in 50 years in the Arctic. But if you asked a large swath of the population, they'd be like, oh, it's all gone. There's no ice. It's all melted. We're all dead. Didn't you know that? More taxes. Joe Biden. But we're going to get to the Ukraine and the Russian collusion and the CCP factor in a second. COVID-19 brings unexpected boom to small towns in Colorado, like Pagosa, Salida, and everywhere else that Republicans and gun-toting Americans love their freedom. Do you see a single mask in this raft? Doubt it. Now, these small towns like where I live, here, let's talk about the propaganda and the problem. The small towns where I live, like Pagosa and Salida, were shut down early on the pandemic, but sometime in May or June, the restrictions weakened and everyone escaped Dodge. They got out of their shitty city and they came to awesome places to rebuild, to renew and refresh. See, I'm growing it out. I didn't want to show you. Hello! Look at that. That's crazy. That's crazy making. It's like Johnny Rotten. All right, so let's get back to my premise, and I'm going to throw out a theory here. HempLucid.com. So here's the deal. All these small towns, over 20, 50% increase in all revenue, rentals, business, sales, restaurants. It's booming out here. So everyone escaped the draconian lockdowns from major cities that are corrupt and probably democratically run, where they allowed buildings to burn and other dumb shit to happen because we're all going to die. But looting, rioting, and everything, that doesn't spread COVID. Only political rallies from Donald Trump does. So all of the people escaped the Democrat cities to come to our rural towns, and you would think that these rural towns where millions of people are rushing in, we only have like a population of 6,000 in town here, but millions came through this summer. The summer of bummer. No, everyone made millions of dollars here. You would think that we would have an epidemic here, a breakout. I mean, all these people, there's no mask. We don't give a... Here, guess what happened? Nothing. Not a single spike, not an increase. As the tourists rolled in by the hundreds of thousands every day. Barely a case, one a week. I think we've had 60 cases in the entire county. Now, Pagosa is just 3 square miles where all the people come through. Nobody here is sick. Nobody here has died. Nobody. Those are facts that I'm living. I've been here 6 years and I've seen millions come through. And guess what they didn't bring? The fake pandemic. You know why? Because we don't have corrupt people here pushing a false narrative. Everyone is accountable. There's very few of us, and we all know each other. And so those are the facts. Now, another shortage of this grocery store staple is coming. The same ones that we were short on before. They're claiming that toilet paper and paper towels are going to be in short supply. So if you're smart, you listened to our podcast months ago, you have 128 rolls of toilet paper and 64 rolls of paper towels in a backstash in your garage that can stay there forever because you will always need them. And then you don't have to buy into all the dumb shit, panic buying, retardation that's happening probably in the next few months. So, heed my warning. Also have 3 years of dried goods, beans, canned goods, and food for your family, including sources of clean water and filters. Oh, backup generators help as well as guns and tons of bullets. Hello. Talking about bullets, Americans have bought a record 17 million guns this year. Hey. And Walmart made an announcement 48 hours ago that it's pulling all guns and bullets off the shelves because of global unrest, especially in the Americas. And then yesterday, they backed that up because they were like, wait a minute, we're going to make billions of dollars. Put the guns and the bullets back. And I support this wholeheartedly. I think every American should have at least 5 guns and 5,000 rounds of ammunition at a minimum. 1,000 for each gun. It'll be fun because you need to defend your food, your sovereignty, and your property. Now, U.S. Marshals find 27 missing in Virginia, and this is on CNN, but it's a small hit. You have to search down to find this. Thousands of children have been found this year, and almost no one knows what's going on. Big thumbs up to the powers that be that are getting these children out of harm's way. Now let's get to some science. Astronomers discover activity on a distant Centaur planetary object. This is a composite, total scientific, farcical fantasy of a comet, asteroid, planetoid. Now, let me tell you the facts. There is only one universe, and there is only one system of making stars and planets. You start with a star. Star emits matter, and that matter doesn't accrete in disks into planets. That's a fantasy. Planets can eject their cores due to magnetic changes, and those are terrestrial planets. Stars can turn off, and the cores can get cool, and those are terrestrial planets. But a solar system like ours, we have Saturn, we have Uranus, we have Jupiter, we have Neptune, all stars in the off position, or brown dwarfs. Gas giants are not planets. The cores of gas giants, when they get shot out or the gas goes away, that's a planet. Earth, Mercury, Venus, Mars, those are rocky cores of old stuff. And when plasma discharge occurs or objects hit, the ejecta is asteroids and comets. Comets are not left over from the beginning of the Big Bang, and we'll get to that. That's another fairy tale. So the entire cosmology in astronomy needs to be reworked based on all the evidence we've learned just in the last 30 years. Yeah. Have you seen the tail on Venus? Have you seen the tail on Pluto? No one talks about it. It's not in the textbooks. But a tail on an asteroid, which is also a comet, which is also a planet, right here in this paper, is completely unique, which it's not. Are all planets have tails? I mean, come on. It's electric, kids. Sorry, Daniel. In addition to an additional planet between Saturn and Uranus was kicked out of the solar system. Kicked right out of Uranus, the system between it. Oh dear, that is Nibiru, unfortunately. Ancient Denisovian DNA found in Chinese karst cave. A karst cave is a cave. So that's a double negative, or it's not even, it's like found in a Chinese cave. Kind of like chai tea is TT. This is the state of science. Ancient Denisovian DNA found in Chinese cave. Wow, that sounds legitimate. I better look at that. That's a cave. That's double confirmation. Hunter Biden's business was industrial scale corruption, according to Lindsey Graham, an elected official. But guess what? There's only one channel, Fox News, reporting on it. One. That's because all the multinational corporations are bought out by progressives. They own them. And they're force-feeding you a fairy tale that almost is 100% a lie. Including this one. Trump supporters spend the weekend clogging the highways. How dare they? Look at that. Doesn't that look dangerous? Are they burning entire cities? Are they shooting people? I doubt it. This is what peaceful protest looks like, especially patriotic. Now, I don't support blocking highways, but I do support not burning down cities or killing people, which the Democrats support. And it's coming after election on Tuesday. Not from the Trump supporters, but from Antifa and BLM. So be warned. The multinational corporations that control the narrative are about to destroy your world. Go vote. Now, myth debunked. The Big Bang was an explosion. Yeah, that was purported by a monk in 1400s. Like the Vatican much, the Big Bang is a fairy tale. The universe is infinite. It's not expanding, it's expanding and contracting. It's so huge and unfathomable in its size, breadth, and age that not a single human on earth can actually comprehend it. Everything that ever happened in your life has happened a million times over in infinite numbers of scenarios happening infinitely right now. There are infinite scenarios. The universe is infinite. Please Google or search infinite and understand what that means, because you can't understand it. It's not as simple as a boom, and here we are. And then it's going to collapse and it'll all start over. That is the most ridiculous, unscientific assessment of what we now know the data to show is untrue, impossible. Mathematically, scientifically, religiously, it's crazy what's happening with the population. They are such sheep. All they want to do is social media, TikTok, play games, and believe in fake fairy tales. It's the world we live in. Now, someone's picking up what we're putting down. When the North became South 750 million years ago, the last magnetic reversal, precise records of Earth's last magnetic pole switch created as fresh flip, now long overdue. So this is coming as a warning of what's happening. In plain sight, just like they always do. They're telling you what's happening. Now, one of our longtime viewers has a blog, and I'm going to share it with you. If you're scared about stepping off the cliff into this new world, and you are in a suburb or a city, there is a way out. You have nowhere to grow, right? Grow in your apartment. Grow in your house. Hydroponics is the way. And if you want some starting points, read this blog. It's tiny, 5 paragraphs. And it may motivate you to change everything that you do. It's almost like an addiction. As soon as you realize how easy it is to grow food with just water, well, the rest is easy. Hope you got something out of the video. Proper prior planning prevents piss-poor performance. When multinational corporations that own the media are just lying to you, they don't want you to prepare. They're about to take your private property under the guise that you'll get universal basic income. This is not sovereignty. This is not why we're here. We're here to have a purpose. We have a mission. If you don't know about that, I want you to pray tonight and ask the universe to give you guidance on what your purpose is. Do this for a week. I guarantee you will get an answer. And it won't be working at the mini mart 40 hours a week. It won't be struggling to pay your rent at the end of the week. It won't be any of that. So, give it a try. I did. And I was able to transform my homeless, alcoholic, crack-addicted, dumbass self into the human I was supposed to be. I almost consider myself a motivational speaker in some senses. But all I do here is do what I love. I share the information that I know. I scour the internet for false narratives, and I try to bring you the facts, one day at a time. Together, we can do it. each and every one of us, survive and thrive in the future. And the first test is coming this Tuesday, which could be our lose day, unless you're prepared. We love each and every one of you. 11 new Patreons this week. We love you. Please share this video. Give it a thumbs up. It's really helping the algorithm. Now, if you like the video and you don't give it a thumbs up, how ridiculous is that? It's free. It takes a millisecond. If you only knew how hard I've worked the last 4 years on producing these channels, the trials, the tribulations, the ups and downs, I think you could spend a second and just click that button. We love you. Be safe. And that, well, that's a boom to knowledge. Click on one of the other boxes to learn more boom knowledge. And be safe. We love you.